old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey! Guys, this week on the show, it is popping, it is lit, it is hot in here. I got a female entrepreneur, somebody who's been blowing up the Boston scene with urban music, Caribbean music, and the first Black woman in Boston to own and start a digital radio station. Shout out Danielle Johnson, aka MsHotSauce. What's poppin'? Let me pass this over to you, girl. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good now that I got a little bubbly in me.
Hey, we got like some Sunday champagne going on.
Sunday champagne. It's a good day for champagne.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
Hey. And it's a good year. You know, it's a good life.
It is. It is. 2022 has been doing whatever it's supposed to do.
Much better than the other years. Facts.
Absolutely.
And you know, I just want to shout out again Spark FM. And you know, for anybody listening in who has not heard Spark FM, who is around the Boston area and you don't know, and you're missing out on that urban Caribbean vibes.
You sure are.
You sure are. Can you let us know, like, what is Spark FM? When was it founded? Who's involved?
So Spark FM is a radio platform. And it's a radio platform that fuses urban and Caribbean music. And when you think about those two, you're like, they're the same thing. And they technically are, but we do also see a lot of times that cultures don't really intertwine the way that they are. So there's still a big divide. So I come from a background of being born in America. My father is from Trinidad. My mother is from Honduras. So I'm like all over the place. So I really wanted to fuse everything that I like to listen to and everything that I know that other people like to listen to and give us more diverse radio, period. An actual urban radio station that plays diverse music for all of the diaspora. Like, what are we doing? Why is it so hard?
Hey, that is beautiful. And that's so special that you also being one female, two, a Black entrepreneur, and three, you're bringing something to Boston that we don't have right now. Something that we actually, it's funny because we talk about diversifying and trying to like build the communities and all that, but how do we do it without being an example?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody doesn't step up and take the sword and be like, I will take the hit for it.
The thing is that this is not even like reinventing the wheel because the market was literally like wide open. And I'm like, I'm on Facebook every day and I'm looking at these status messages. People like, we have the worst radio stations in Boston in the whole world. And I'm hating this and I hate when they do that. And I'm like, how come, you know, like people haven't really tried to go for it in the way that it needs to be, you know, gone in.
Right.
And we've had a lot of smaller community radio stations that have attempted it, but there's just so many pieces to running a media empire. Marketing is one of those big things that I felt like a lot of other radio stations were missing. And I'm like, where's all the money going that you're making? Like, how are you reinvesting into this? So I wanted to just kind of, you know, stop talking about it and then try to see if I can be about it. And it's been had. It's been getting done.
I love that shit. She goes, stop talking about it and see if I could actually be about it. That's that step that it starts to take from an idea, a dream, to make it a reality.
Absolutely.
And I know that a lot of people listening in and exactly what you said, and a lot of personal friends of mine, they hate the Boston area for the radio, the music, the events. Not enough people want to put their time, effort, energy into creating something for this city instead of taking it to another city. And so on our Boston radios, and I'm sure you feel this way as well, but they'll be like, we're going to play the best throwbacks from like whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll pop on like a fucking song from like a year ago. And
Bottles
I'm like,
up,
what?
bottles
Yeah,
up.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what throwback? Like, what throw? There's no underground culture. Or even tying that in, it's like, even when you say like the market was wide open, and I'm gonna shout out my producer Slam, he had brought up, you know, when he was growing up that there was like an urban radio, and I think it was WILD. Okay, you already know about it. But he said like even the owners, the high ups, they weren't even like cultural. Do you know what I'm saying? They were probably white people. Like
it's and that's what. So WILD has been down for about 22 years since we last had something like that for our own. And we really kind of modeled Spark FM around WILD because it was
Wow.
something that, you know, like back in the day, I remember my uncle used to work on that radio station, Jammin' Joe Johnson. He's one of our mentors now.
I've never heard of him. Wow, that's crazy.
So it's like in the family, you know? So like you being around everything all the time, being around radio, being around entertainment, it just seemed like, you know, there's no reason why 22 years should have went by. And again, I've been at a part of a lot of different other radio stations that have attempted to do what WILD did. And somehow, some way they felt short. And I was there, so I was able to witness where the shortness was.
Yeah.
So again, when I say I'm not reinventing the wheel, I'm literally taking things that I saw and things that I learned and put it into something that's a little bit more tangible, a little bit more professional and reliable that people can actually like enjoy and listen to. Like when we say throwbacks, we're going all the way back.
Facts,
like today
facts.
there's a show called Sunday Food. It's like old school reggae and soca music that people literally stand around the stove and cook and dance to. So I have like my family in Honduras and Trinidad and everything, like literally like showing me plates of food while they're listening to Spark FM. And like, you know, that's the kind of diversity we needed. That's the type of relatability that we wanted to have at the station.
Facts. It's like bringing the radio to the home or the home to the radio.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like the family and the community involved, because we don't get that. Like you put on the radio when you're at home, what do you like, the news or some whack ass music or
And
whatever.
it's the
and it's just
same
the same. Yeah. It's literally like a rotation.
It's like the same 15 songs every hour.
Exactly. So, and even then, how do we get that diverse music put into our communities? You know what I'm saying? So shout out Spark FM. Shout out everything that you guys are doing over there. And I think a huge question that arises when we talk about Spark FM, because it's so accessible too. Like it's dope. You guys are a digital platform. You like talked about if you say Siri in your phone, Siri, put on Spark FM, it'll pop right on, which is amazing. But how did you guys get to the actual, and it does based around financials, unfortunately, financial point where you were able to create an urban radio and bring this amazing music to so many people in the Boston area?
So we started out in 2020.
During the pandemic.
Like
smack in the middle. Damn.
And it's funny because in the beginning of 2020, it was regular. Where everybody was living their lives. 2019 came, 2020 was everybody's year.
Right.
And it was in like the mid 2019 that I was like, you know, let's do this, started thinking about it, whatever. And then in January, we were like, oh, we're going to launch a crowdfunding campaign. Because if we're going to build a local community radio station that caters to the local community, then the local community should have something to do with the radio station.
Make it relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we were like, you know, we're going to do a crowdfunding campaign. We're going to kickstart it off with Kickstarter, and we're going to try to raise $17,000. We were on it and I don't know where, to be honest with you, I have no idea where I got that number from. I think
Just
that
came up in your head.
I was doing like little calculations,
You're
like equipment.
Well, it's not 20. It's a little less than 20.
We can do
like,
that.
We can do it.
It's not too bad. I'm like, microphones cost this much. We need this many.
Yeah.
You know, like after you put down your little estimates, it's like, okay, cool. We can do this. So it was like $17,000. We had this big meeting. Everybody that I've reached out to be on the radio station, because we do have a 40-person team, a 40-plus person team.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I was going to say it takes a village, but like I didn't know your village was that big.
Oh, yeah. We have a big village.
But we'll have to talk about that too, like for sure.
So Kickstarter, we were like, okay, we had a big meeting. We're going to like, this is how much we're going to raise. Everybody's like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we put it together. I love to create things. I like to imagine things. I like to kind of visualize how they would go. So I was like, you know, we're going to do a countdown. And I also do a lot of research. And when I was researching crowdfunding campaigns, they were like, you got to get people excited before you even ask them for money.
Anything.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So we started with this little countdown where it was like going from 10 to 1. And it was just a number, 10 with a big lightning bolt through it. And every day, the 40 plus of us would just drop that. No words, no caption, nothing. So like as we're going down the countdown, we're seeing people starting to pick up on it. They're just sharing the arbitrary numbers everywhere. So finally when we launched on like 12, we launched on 4, the campaign we launched on January 20th. And January 20th, we just kind of, at 12 o'clock on the dot, we just put out a big drop that said, Spark FM, #1 for Caribbean music. And everybody started to share it. And then we dropped the campaign. We sent out a press release to all of the press that we could find. And from there, we was just started begging for money. Like, we begged for money every day. It's like, we were not fundraising. We was begging people for money, $20, $5, anything. And by the end of that campaign, we raised over $26,000.
Whoa!
So that was big.
That is huge, girl.
That was huge.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That is amazing.
It was a lot of work.
Yes.
It was a lot of, I didn't have any conversations that month. Anything, if you hit me
You're like, I'm
up
off
for anything,
limits, don't talk
I'm
to
on
my
me.
own.
Do you got money? No? All right.
All right, click.
Hit me up in February.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, February 2020, well, 2 days before the campaign, actually, we did a 30-day campaign. 2 days before it launched, we hit our goal of that 17. So we knew that we were getting that money. And then people, I don't know what happened to people, but people started donating even more after we hit it.
Yeah.
And, it was beautiful because we had a plan. We put it out there. We told people what we were going to do. And we asked them for their help. And the community came through like I've never seen them come through before.
Wow.
And we were able to raise that money and just get started. And then ever since then, we've just continued. We're fundraising. Yeah. We're actually fundraising instead of begging now. And just grants, pitch competitions, everything. Whatever I can find that can give us money, I enter, I apply, I present, whatever it is. And that's how we've been able to keep afloat.
See, that's amazing because everybody who's in the media or communications industry, broadcasting, whatever, it takes thousands to even get your foot in the door of like, okay, I got my equipment aside from my team or aside from taking people onto the team to put out shows, et cetera, sponsorships, all of that. People don't understand the time, the effort, the energy and motivation it takes to keep that dream running until you get to that point.
Absolutely.
And so even though you're saying it started in 2020 and here we are now and you guys are still trying.
Yeah.
When did the actual initial spark of Spark FM kind of like come into your mind as an idea? Because I know you're a communicator yourself through college, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I went to school for communication. I first went to school for nursing. Nursing wasn't my vibe, clearly. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. I was like, I want to be a nurse. I want to work with the kids. This is what I'm going to do. And
Destiny had another plan for you.
Failed out of those classes. I was like, I can't tell the arm from the foot, so this probably won't work. So then an advisor was like, why don't you just do communications? Because I didn't want to do like general studies. I wanted to do something that I, could be excited about. And I started in the communications classes and I really liked them. I liked talking to people. I liked putting on events. I liked public speaking. I liked all of those things. So when I graduated from college, I got an entry-level job as an admin assistant. And on the side of doing my work, I was blogging. So I was just blogging and the blog was doing really good.
Like personal blogging? Yeah.
Well, not personal. It was like entertainment blogging.
Oh, cool.
So I wanted to be like the Shade Room and all of those things. And it's funny because when I started blogging, that's when they had started blogging too. And they were already doing really well. So like watching those platforms graduate to these moguls and things like that. It's been really dope. Like Nicole Bitchy, so many different ones, Baller Alert. They were all literally starting around that time. But I realized something very early too. I'm not a good grammatically correct person, or do I spell nicely? So somebody was like, why don't you do radio? And I was like, radio?
Like, how could I do that?
That's fun. So doing a little research, I found this little radio station, this little cyber radio station in Quincy. It was called Cyber Station USA.
Okay.
In Quincy. And I had to pay like $30 every time I went in there a week to pay my little money, to interview all my friends and to walk in there with my CDs and stuff like that. And then I got, soon after that, my sister's ex-boyfriend.
And can I just say, about how many years ago are we talking?
So that was in 2009. That was in 2009.
Okay. All right.
2009.
So at least like a decade.
Yes.
Okay.
So 2009, maybe that was 2008. 2009-ish. My sister's ex-boyfriend got an opportunity to DJ on this radio station called Hot 97. I was like, Hot 97 sounds lit. So I started in with him, just doing an intern from 12 to 2 in the morning. And then the show got bumped up. So we were doing 10 to 12. And then I started kind of like, helping him more. Then I got a chance to be on air. And then I started producing shows. And I fell in love with radio. I stayed there for 7 years. And then I went to another radio station where I had a chance to do the morning show. And I fell in love with morning programming and just all of that. Yes. And then a little spat happened at that station with the owner, which was really kind of a kick in the ass for me to realize that I don't, like, all of this passion, all of this like enthusiasm I had for radio and wanting to be on a bigger station. I had started applying, and it seemed like those doors of opportunity weren't really open to Black women. And to this day, there is still only one Black woman on any major radio station in Massachusetts. And I felt like that was just terrible because putting in the work, I had grew my name, I had grew my brand. So the radio stations knew that I was out there because, they were either, like people were either saying like, oh, apply to this, something's opening, you should get it, whatever. Every chance I got, I was applying and I just couldn't get in. So I was like,
it's like there has to be something wrong, but there was nothing wrong. Yeah.
And then I just started looking at the landscape and I was like, this is not
like the demographic just does not match my demographic. It's like you said about the radio. You don't hear the music played that you grew up with. You don't see the people that you grew up with on the radio or on TV or people that look like you. Yeah. That's not what we see represent us around here.
And it felt bad. Yes. It felt really bad. I was like, what's wrong? Why can't we do this? There was one woman, Keisha Monk, that was finally on like a new station, 97.7. And I was really excited, but then I was just like, damn, they brought her from somewhere else to come up here. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with us? Right. And that didn't even last long either. And I was like, something's got to change. Something's got to happen. So the spark came in, like, let's start our own radio station. Let's see what would happen if we decided to do this radio station. And just from doing research and finding programming, the idea came. And at first I was like, should I do this? No, I don't want to do this. And I was like, this should be pretty easy, so let's just do it. And we did it.
Pretty easy, she says, in quotations. Do you feel that's pretty easy now, girl?
This has been the worst thing that I've ever done in my life. I won't say the worst, the most challenging.
The most challenging for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It has, I thought it was going to be easy. I thought, like you get a program, get on the radio, you do a little internet thing. Yep. But when your vision is a lot more than, like the commonalities of what you're used to, you want to see it get bigger. You want to see everything to come together. You want, like you were saying, you want to see the sponsorships. You want to see the ad revenue. Right. You want to see the content growing. You want to see it relevant, and you want to see, obviously,
and like the interaction from the community. Like,
exactly.
Oh, they're reciprocating what I'm putting out.
They like what I'm doing.
I worked so hard on it.
Yeah. So all of that has just been like super challenging. And as you know, like getting our numbers mean the world to us. Facts. Numbers matter to media companies. We want to see those things keep on growing day to day. And we know when we first start, there's going to be like 2 listeners, and then they'll grow to 10. And then, like eventually you'll get bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's our dream. That's all of our dream in the media, to get bigger and to be able to do more. And, like it's been slow. Right. It's been hard. Our competition is fierce. Like, we have a lot of competition. It's not just radio stations, because I'm not worried about the radio stations.
Now it's clearly the digital.
Yeah, it's the digital movement.
Almost anyone can start a business or a company, but it's the consistency. Mm-hmm. Who is consistent enough to make it last in the long run? Like, we're talking 100%. From 2009 to 2022.
Yes.
So that's not an overnight thing. Like, nah.
You're constantly growing your brand. You're constantly reaching out to people. You're constantly just trying to figure out, what can I do to make this better, to make more people listen. And as a woman, you already you're contending with everybody else in the entertainment, which is about 95% male.
Right. Exactly.
And most of them are white males. Exactly. And and then when you have our our BIPOC community doing the same thing. Now we're all literally like on the same level, trying to reach for the same thing.
Yep.
And there's competition amongst us. There is outside competition with everybody else. So like, it's just, it's challenging to kind of figure out, what lane you're going to get there, how you're going to squeeze through the door, and how you're going to continue to grow your company.
Yeah, 100%. And like, just to relate to you, and I have mentioned it on my past shows, but when I started this podcast, which it's been a year, and
congratulations.
Thank you. So we kind of on a similar anniversary vibe.
Yes.
But when I started this, I actually started online as a digital radio live podcast. I didn't know where to start. That's the funny thing. When you have an idea and you're trying to grow it, you have to see what works and what doesn't, and you have to test things.
Trial and
if it doesn't work, you got to move to the next. So it's like, I was doing it because I'm working a full-time 9-to-5 job. I would get out, get home by 6, have my show from 6:30 to 7:30, live on the radio. I'd be hoping that people would call in. I'd be on my Instagram asking my friends to call in. My sister, I'm like, my sister, please call. And she calls in. My little niece is screaming in the background. I was like, it's fine. Somebody called in. Don't worry about it. It's that. And then from there, what step do you take to grow it and make it better and get people interested in what you're doing enough to get it out there? And then, like we said, the revenue. So I just want to shout that out to anyone listening in who is on a digital-based broadcasting platform. You're in the media, whether you're male, you're a female. It is not easy. It is not overnight success. It is something that starts from the roots and it works its way all the way up to the branches and the trees. And you can't get there unless you're watering your seed. So I think you're a great example of that as a woman in general.
And you as well, because, like I see people all the time, like, I'm going to start a podcast. I want to do a podcast. We get calls all the time. Like,
not as easy.
And I'm like, listen, I know it sounds really awesome. You really want to do it. But again, like, it's so much work. And that's why most people don't last, because unless there is something pulling you to do this, you have a story, you have a message, you have a passion for it. Just wanting to be on air and do whatever you want to do. That's cool. All right, that's not what it's about. That's not. It's 100% not. Because again, like even us coming here, I was a half an hour late. That's studio time. That is this time. That is, coordinating if you had another one after that. It's so much that goes into, and then don't forget to press record.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Don't fuck up the intro when you're doing the intro. Like there's so many things behind the scenes. But I do want to highlight what you talked about. And actually, I specifically pulled an Instagram quote that you would put up. But it was a fun fact that you put up. It was a picture of you and a couple other Black women in media. And you did say, fun fact, that you guys have the largest percentage of females on air than any other radio or media station in Massachusetts.
We do.
That is just like fantastic right there. Shout out to you.
Thank you very much.
How are you pulling in these women? Where they come? Like, what is the inspiration?
You know what it is that there are so many of us that want to do this, and like we talked about earlier, having the opportunities afforded to us are really just not there in Massachusetts. So we are often starting our own with no network, with no support and stuff like that. And when I was growing up in radio, I really wish that there were people that I could reach out to and say, how do you do this? How do you do this? There was one woman, Deja Vu, that was on the radio back in the day. And I remember reaching out to her, but she was also remote. So it was like, I couldn't really she couldn't be my mentor.
Be a mentor, meet up with her. And
So as I was growing up, I kind of seen like the women that were in the scene doing little things. And as I started to kind of brand out and grew bigger and myself and get notoriety, there were women that were coming up to me and asking me for help and, like, yo, I see what you're doing. Can I just sit in on you and sit in on it and whatever. And I was like, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So from there, just kind of knowing the people that were out there doing radio or platforms or anything else like that before, and just, hey, I'm about to start a radio station. I know you're into radio. Do you want to do that? So now I think we have maybe 15 to 17 women on air or working in the background. And I really get excited because a lot of them are a lot younger than me. And that's something that I also saw growing up, is that a lot of the older, folks in the business weren't really trying to relinquish that that fame, that power, that those opportunities to us younger broadcasters. And I was just like, you know, eventually you guys are going to get old. For me,
like
it's
pass
different.
down the knowledge type shit. Like, how do you learn if nobody is willing to teach you the steps?
Exactly.
Right.
So for me, it was different because I'm still growing my own personal brand. So I'm not worried about me getting to where I want to go. I've been doing it for the last 12 years. So I'm really confident that I will get there. And I get, you know, I get notoriety from a lot of different places on the radio, hosting events and stuff. I don't necessarily need that anymore. So now, like when people approach me like, hey, can you host my event? Can you meet my budget? No? Okay, cool. That's fine. This is a slew of other really amazing hosts and representatives and MCs and whatever. They are starting out. They are hungry. I recommend you to go to them and put them to work so that they can grow.
You're kind of like a telephone book now.
Yes,
like, okay, I can't give you my service, but I can give you services that anybody you need.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's that networking that's important, like to bring women and even men up in the industry who, you know, who genuinely care about the music that's being put on the radio, the words that are being spoken. Like, not every radio station has conscious conversation where you guys are also talking about news, you're talking about current topics, and you're putting in like real ass thoughts and like real talk. You feel me? It's not just bullshit talk. Even on my podcast, like I don't just like tab people on and just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, like what's down, what's deep, what is the struggle that it takes to get there?
What's your story?
What's your story? It's just being, and like once you find something that you can support and step behind that, it's no longer about your success. You know what I'm saying? It's about the success of that so that others can open their mind. Like I hope that your radio show and this podcast and people seeing you talk will inspire young females to be like, yo, I can talk too. Even though I felt like I couldn't or people don't support me, there is a way.
There is a way.
If you want to make a way, there is a way. You know what I'm saying?
What we wanted to do with Spark, when we're talking about making a way, is that, you know, everybody's coveted goals when you're in this industry is to be on a major radio station so you can grow and you can get those bigger gigs and whatever. We understood that with everything that's going on, with trying to raise capital and everything, we weren't going to be an iHeartMedia in 2 years. So what we wanted to do is, you know, make a stepping stone. Like make a stepping stone. Like Spark's goal is not even to be like iHeartMedia's, the be as big, because we do understand that there's levels to this shit. You know, like there are different levels, and Massachusetts didn't even really have a stepping stone level for us to even get the experience to even be able to say, hey, iHeart, hey, you know, all of these radio stations, intercoms and whatever. Hey, I've got this amount of experience. I've got this amount. I've been on air for this. I've been doing this. So we wanted to make sure that if people wanted to stop at Spark FM, if that was their goal, that they could. But if people wanted to move on and do, you know, more mainstream radio where they were playing those 4 songs and they were, you know, syndicated all over the place, that we were at least giving them or providing them that stepping stone to get there. We were getting them in the door. We were training them. We were giving them the knowledge. We were teaching them how to speak. We were teaching them how to, you know, broadcast.
Platform. Because there is no education platform for broadcasting except going to college.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And college ain't for everybody.
Right. For real. We're all different learners. Some people are visual, some people are not. Like you said, you're not great with vocabulary, but you're a great speaker. So it's just, we all have our own ways. And you know, there's different ways to get things done, and that's all what it's about. So anybody who's listening, tuning in, if you are trying to do that yourself right now, just take it from me, take it from MsHotSauce. It is literally motivation, dedication, consistency.
100%.
And even I don't know if you go through this, and I'm gonna be real. Like I still self-doubt. You've had decades. I don't know if you still self-doubt.
Girl, this morning I was like, oh, I hate everything. I was like, I cannot do this. Like I said, March has been a really crazy week, and every day in March I've woke up like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm gonna find a job. They can figure, the team, the staff, they can figure it out if they want to, but I cannot do this. And I have a couple of mentors, what I call often, I'm like, so I've hit the end of my rope.
I'm giving up now.
Yeah.
I'm no longer MsHotSauce. I'm so sorry.
I want you guys to know that I'm gonna whatever. And oftentimes, like, I'm sitting there doing work and I'm like, I just close the computer. I throw it on the other side of the couch. I'm like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I'm talking to myself all the time.
Facts.
I'm doubting myself. Imposter syndrome is
Real.
heavy.
Yep.
It is heavy because I get invited to platforms to, you know, like to speak and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you sure you want me?
Right.
I'm not
Why
doing
me?
enough.
Like, I'm
you
not
know,
good
like,
enough.
Yeah.
And it's that, and I did want to bring this up, as it's dope that you said it, because as females in general, not even in the broadcasting industry, media industry, but just females in general, I feel like there's been throughout history just this idea that we are never good enough.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, no matter how you change your bodies, no matter if you talk, where you come from, you can be the prettiest girl in the world, but you're not that other girl. No. You can be the smartest girl in the world, but you don't have that degree. You know what I'm saying? We always have something that we feel we don't live up to. And so being like you, like in the media and being on camera and having people look at you, it can take kind of like a mental health toll where you need to reconnect or disconnect and be like, okay, I have to take time to know who Danielle is or know who Jessie is and remember who that woman is that started this initial business. Like, because when you said that, like, I just wanted to crack up and be like, Slam, did you just hear that? Because before we did the show today, I was like, yo, I don't think I can do this. I was like, I'm so anxious today. I'm just like down. I didn't want to get out of bed. I'm tired. And then like you 100%. Come on, the energy is just hot. Like, it's like, all right, we got this.
But that's what makes you want to do it. Because like I said, the same exact feelings. I came here, I saw you, you're all dressed up. I saw him greeting at the door. And I'm just like, you know, this is why we do it. Because there's others like us in the world that literally understand what's going on. It's tough. It's really hard. Oftentimes you don't feel like putting on makeup. You don't want to put on your eyelashes. You don't want to do any of that. And, you know, like being able to meet like-minded people, you know, connect and to network. It's really like something that we need because it's mad lonely. It's mad lonely when you're like, nobody understands.
Yo, and trying to start a whole business, it gets lonely because it's like you have to make sacrifices. You have to say no to going out, no to chilling with your friends, no to doing this and no to doing that so that dream can progress. Like what's more important? You know what I'm saying? So,
and sometimes you don't even know what's more important. Is my mental health more important than putting this proposal?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like last night there was an event that I didn't really want to go, but I was like, I should go. But then I was like, you know what? We're launching a new website soon. So maybe I should sit my ass down in here and do something. I did maybe like 3 things on it. And I was like, it's time for bed.
But those 3 things are 3 things you wouldn't have had done. So it's like, you know, taking the wins as wins and losses as losses, but not like holding on or letting yourself get stuck there too. You know what I mean? Letting yourself be down. Letting yourself go through that feeling. Important. We're humans.
Going through that process. I tell people all the time, when you're feeling bad, just feel bad. Just go through the process. Like eventually we know we're going to get out of it. Like that's something we know we're going to get out of it.
Right.
But in that moment, it's almost like you don't think that you're going to get over it. You don't think you'll get out of this funk. Out of this darkness period. And those happen a lot where you're just like, you're under the covers, the lights is off, it's bright daylight, and you're like, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. And you almost have to convince yourself that you have to do it this one last time.
Even though you know it won't be the last time. You're like, I can do it. You got this, girl. One time. Right.
You want to make it through this day and you're done forever. But then you realize that you're not done. You're 100%. Not done. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still more people to talk to. There's still more people to meet. And at least before you're done, you at least want to set it up so that, you know, you can be done and be like, yep, I did that and I'm done with it. But, you know, when you love it, you're really never done.
Exactly. And when you love it, it stops being work at some point too. It just starts being like a lifestyle and part of who you are. And it's also dope that you have kind of taken those and combined them into one. But I was wondering, and maybe some people who, you know you or seen you on social media and haven't met you in person, you have such a dope online vibe. Like if I go to your Instagram, like you're popping, it's so spicy. Like we got that 8,000 followers. Like you're just lit, yo. And like as you go through and I watch your, like when you do the morning shows or whatever and you live record them and you put them on Instagram, you switch it up. Like sometimes you're just chilling in a hoodie. Sometimes you got your glasses on. Sometimes you're all done up in a whole outfit and your makeup done. Is there a difference, do you feel, between like off-camera Danielle and like on camera or on radio like MsHotSauce? Oh wait, I gotta call you out because today you brought Savannah James. Savannah James is in the house.
Savannah James. I should have corrected you on that in the beginning.
You're like, nah, she didn't come today.
She didn't. Savannah James is here. No, that's a really awesome question because I get that a lot. And they're like, you know, what's the difference? Hot sauce, Danielle, whatever. There's a big difference, but it is very confusing to even figure it out. So I'm always me. So all of these people, all of these alter egos, they're always in me. So a part of me is always there. But off screen, off the radio, off entertainment, I am in a bonnet, in big sweatpants, a big hoodie, and I'm usually like in the couch with snacks and whatever.
Yes.
You know, like it is, I don't, people laugh at me all the time. I don't like people.
Girl, I am such an introvert. It's because extrovert, like communicators, are sometimes the biggest introverts.
They are.
You know what I'm saying? We just force ourselves,
literally,
for the purpose to talk.
And that's so. I love that you said that because people don't understand. They'll be like, "Oh, you're on the radio. You're always popping. You're so crazy. You're out
Your
there. You
energy's
say whatever."
blah, 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 like,
and when they see me out at the club or whatever, I'm like.
You're like, don't look at me, don't look at me.
Don't see me. Are you seeing me? Hi. I remember just the other day, we went to this big R&B party at the Big Night Live. And one of my friends saw me. She was like, give me a hug. And I was like, give me 3 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Just give me 3 minutes to just...
I have to adjust to the new environment.
Yes,
There's a lot of people.
Anxiety is up here. Usually at a club, you can most likely see me far off into a corner, like surrounded by the biggest dudes that you can find because just put me in the back. Like as long as people,
girl,
hey,
I relate to that so much.
Yeah, like don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So like it is one of those things, like even networking events, like find me at the bar. You start a conversation with me, I'll definitely converse, but I'm not going to be one of those people that are working the room.
Yes.
And when you do talk to me, it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be energy. We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. But as soon as you walk away, I'm like...
Back to yourself. Yeah. Yes.
Who's next? You know, like one of those things. So like for me, it's really hard because then when people do see me out of the hot sauce realm, they're like, oh, hot sauce, do a cartwheel.
It's like, no. Like, I want to go put my sweats on and chill.
I
like,
don't even want to be here, do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking to me?
It's like, just because you're an entertainer doesn't mean you always need to be entertaining everybody. You feel me? There's a difference in like...
I'm not a clown. I'm not here to entertain you all the time. Like,
right.
Back off a little bit, you know? So that's hard for people too, though, because they see you and they get really attached to your personality and to your entertainer vibe. And when they see you, they get excited and that's what they want to see. I think that they don't also realize like, yo, I do have like anxiety all the time. Like I sweat. Like even now I'm sweating down my back.
Girl, I like literally like thank you so much for saying this because like you are helping me and you're probably helping a million other people, but I get this way like about everything. Yeah. Every show I have, I'm nervous. I'm sweating. Yep. I'm getting anxiety.
How's it gonna go?
I woke up at 7 this morning. Like I haven't eaten. I haven't like, this is going to be episode like in our 50s now, almost 60s. And it's like, it doesn't matter sometimes how many times you do it. If you have anxiety or depression or those things on the inside, sometimes you just need to figure out what works for you. You know what I'm saying? We're not all extroverts, even if we make ourselves be. And it's like taking that time to be like, it's okay to not always put on that. You don't want to put on a front. You want to be whoever you are, Danielle or Jessie or whatever it is. But being genuine to that too. You know what I'm saying?
And I appreciate you for saying that because people are like, do you still get nervous? Yeah. All the time.
Like about everything. Like, and it's funny because I thought you would come and you'd be like, oh, like I'm on my pop. Like, and I was nervous to have you because I'm like, oh, she's such a great speaker. What am I going to say? But it's like, everyone's a fucking person.
Yeah.
If you meet a celebrity who makes millions and whatever, and they live in LA, like they are just a person. And when they're home by themselves, they're not the same as when they're on stage or when you see them in a music video.
Crying at home and miserable. Like my family's like, you have such a bad attitude. I don't care. I hate everybody.
Right. Like, let me go through it. So when I am on air, I can bring out that good energy. I gotta save it. You know,
and then those are the things too, like, you know, we were talking about, you know, not wanting to do that. I do feel that there is a shift, because no matter how much you don't want to do it, when the lights and the cameras on, you do know that as a professional, snap out of it.
Right.
Like, snap out of it. There's been many days where, you know, things have happened. I've been crying right before a show. I've been depressed. Something happened. And as soon as we hit that go live button, it's like, hey, welcome. You know, like, it really is being like almost just like, I said we're not machines, but it's almost like a machine. You turn that switch on, and when it's time to go, I can't go back now. There's nothing I can't do. I can't sit here and be crying on the whatever. Right. I got to get through this. I got to make it happen. And a lot of people don't appreciate that.
Right.
They don't appreciate the work that we do to put on, to entertain, to actually, because who the hell want to sit there entertaining people all day?
Yep.
Nobody want to do that all day. So, you know, those are little things that, you know, like, people go through, people need to hear. Yep. They are very transparent moments, and I thank you for asking that.
No, and I thank you for being open about it, because I think it's important that people see what you see on social media and what you see on the radio or on video, or even like if you're hosting a show or whatever. It's not always what is behind that. And sometimes the purpose of what you're doing, like the purpose of Spark FM and the purpose of, like, you know, my podcast, that's what makes us want to keep going, because it helps so many others. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how can I give up something that's going to push other people up? So anyways, back to the show. And back to filling your cuppy. We need some more champagne. You do have and I think it's daily, but I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have a morning show that you host with two other hosts on your show. Could you tell us a little bit about that morning show, when it airs, and what people could expect if they tune in?
Yeah, so Saucy and Friends in the morning.
Hey, Saucy and Friends.
Saucy and Friends. Because we get saucy in the morning. And it is daily, Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 11. Our DJ plays from 8:30 to 9, and then the show starts promptly at 9 to 11. And we discuss everything that a morning show would typically discuss. We go into our local news, so we cover everything that's going on in the community, local politics, you know, like what's happening, who got killed, who got shot.
Yep.
Sometimes we have
gas prices. I seen that one the other day.
Man, listen,
those fucking gas prices.
Like literally, like when the exits changed and everything like that. Those are the things that, you know, we bring on a local level. Then we go into like our national news, where we talk about, you know, Ukraine, and we talk about, you know, like all of the different laws and stuff that are being passed. And then we get into entertainment news, because, you know, we love gossip.
Facts.
We love to know what our
local... sorry, who do you host that morning show with?
So I actually host it with my biological sister.
Hey,
that's Miss Tony.
Fire.
Yep.
Miss Tony.
Miss Tony.
I didn't know that.
And then Rockstone Triz. He is a DJ who happens to double as my godbrother too. So we kind of grew up together. So it's kind of like a family affair. Yeah. And then we have Scuba Steve, who's our intern.
Okay, Scuba Steve.
Yep, he's an entertainment journalist that just graduated, who wants to get into media and broadcasting. And, you know, a young dude that is passionate about, you know, media and journalism and stuff. And, you know, those are the type of people that we want to cater to. The younger folks that are like, yo, I want to get into radio. I want to do this. Yeah. So that show is, I wouldn't say it's family oriented, but we all know each other, so we know how each other ticks. Yeah. There's been many times where we've gotten into little spats on air, and it makes for good radio, obviously.
Definitely.
But you know, like we are all very diverse in our own worlds. You know, like we all come from different walks of life. So you can bring the different
perspectives. Yeah. So when you're listening in, it's like, okay, you're not just getting one side of it. Like if you're watching Fox News, perhaps, or you know, just for example.
And then we do have those moments where we do have people that are super left and super right, and we bump heads and we talk it through, and then the callers call, or they are, since we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram, like we're building that community of people that tune in and watch us every morning, and they're in the comment section, they're arguing, they're debating, they're bigging us up, you know. So like it is something that that again, Boston was lacking on consistent morning radio for the urban community that touches different things. We also have sponsors from like Chase Bank that sponsors a segment called Money Matters Monday, where we get into there and we teach the community about financial health and
like financial literacy.
Yeah, exactly. Things that we need.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays, we have Super Tuesdays, where a local politician, an ex-state rep, Carlos Enriquez, he teaches us about getting civically engaged and all the questions that we have about all of the politics that happen in Massachusetts. We want straight facts of what are they saying?
Right.
What are they talking
take
about?
Take out all the bullshit words we can't understand and just say it in layman
make it plain.
Terms. Yeah.
What should we do to stop this? What can we do to make this go forward? Like, teach us what we need to know to be civically engaged and to actually have these conversations with our politicians and hold them accountable for what they're doing.
Right.
Cannabis 101, you know, like different strains of weed, and you know,
that's
like,
my type of show right there.
Exactly. Loud After Dark, where, you know, like there is teaching us about sativa and indica and all kinds of this, you know, like the things that we want to have conversations about, the things that we see online that we get in these, you know, Facebook debates and stuff. You want to have the knowledge to be like, yo, I know about, you know, budgeting, and or I know about, you know, a runt or something like that. You know, all these little things that we just need relatable and reliable information about. We want to bring that onto the platform so that people could have conversations that make sense. You don't sound like you just Googled something 2 days ago.
And some real, like just real, like you're listening and you're laughing with them because it's like literally funny. It's not some whack ass corny jokes or people calling in talking about their dating experiences or, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sick of hearing that on the morning show. So.
Absolutely. We don't necessarily want to hear a jam scam every 2 days.
Right, for real.
Update. What is it? Second date update.
Second date update.
And I'm
no hate. It's all love.
And I listen to them as I'm going into the radio station. And I am, you know, like, I'm picking them apart because that's what we do. And I'm like, you know, like I want to be able to produce information and news that's relative, relatable, reliable, and relevant. You know, like those are some of our core values at Spark FM. Like we want all those things to make sense. We want that when you turn it on, even if this ain't your vibe, you might be like, I kind of like this conversation.
Relate to it though.
You know, so
exactly.
Just, you know, like having diverse content, not only diverse music, but diverse content that everybody can relate to on some level.
Right.
And we want to meet you where you're at. So we do stream to all of the digital platforms, even though we have our own.
Very convenient.
We just want to meet them where they're at.
Right. And is that free? Do they have to pay for that streaming?
No, it's all free.
It is all free. So why ain't you listening?
Exactly. No purchase necessary. And like I said, when we came in here and you were like, you know, I've been listening. That's my favorite compliment. I don't need you to purchase advertising. I don't need you to purchase merch. If you want to, go for it. We encourage that. But at the same time, I just want you to tune in and listen. I want us to start complaining about things that are not for us and complaining about why they're not, and really kind of focus and support on the things that are for us.
Right.
You know, like,
and figuring out how we can like make a community or make a station or make moves that are for us together. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said earlier, it takes a village, and you said you have a 40 village team.
A 40 village team.
So you
get
know,
on my nerves.
Real quick, I don't know. You probably can't name them all, but like, how many shows do you have running on the station per week? I know it's 24/7, but like actual shows, and then I also seen live events.
We have 27 live broadcasts a week.
Okay,
so that ranges from morning, midday, drive time, R&B, you know, like late night. We have it all. We have like 27 27 groups of people come in there a week and put on content from about 8 o'clock to about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Busy schedule.
So our schedule is like color coded, timed out, whether it's music, whether it's talk, whether it's a combination, whether they are remote. We do also have remote broadcasters. We have 2 in Atlanta, 1 in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And 1 in Vegas and 1 in Kansas.
Oh, so diverse.
Yeah. So we're very diverse. And one of our biggest goals is these places that we're remote broadcasting in, we understand that those are major minority metros. So they are places that you wouldn't necessarily think like Kansas. Are there black people in Kansas?
Like what urban culture do they need out there? Like, yes, there are black people in Kansas.
Because people say the same thing about Boston. Like, are there black people
Latin?
in Boston?
Like, we're saying black, but like Latin, like Asian, like anything in between mixed. Like,
people of color.
Right.
Where are they? What do they like to listen to? Because that's also on the radio station. We have like Latinx vibes, we have Afro beats, we have reggae and soca, we have just, regular American music, trap, hip hop, R&B. We have all of those things, but we want to be able to, like the people in Kansas where there's probably a huge population of black and brown people, and we're like,
who are listening to this whack ass radio out there, like, okay,
why don't we have it?
Right.
One of our goals is to plant Spark FMs in those places as well.
Hey.
Like a little baby radio station in Kansas that people can tune in and be like, oh, this is where I come from. There is music out there for us. And yes, they can find it from any other online radio station, but when it's in your city and they're talking about the things that you're talking about and they're relating to the local places and landmarks that we want to give people that type of opportunity to hear things that they relate to.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I did see recently you guys are doing some live events. I know for a while you probably weren't because of COVID and everything. Going forward in like 2022, do you guys have any big plans for like open live events or shows, or you personally with hosting or emceeing?
So we want, now that the world is opening, it's a little scary.
Now that the world's back.
We're normal again. It's scary too, though, because for a long time we were cushioned and we were sheltered from having to produce big events that, event curators can tell you, like, is anybody going to come? Whatever. So now we are in the process of kind of planning those things. Last year we did have one, and it was called Rhythm. And it was just like an open music type of festival vibe where it was mostly catered towards the kids. We had bouncy houses, free pizza, hand sanitizers, vendors and whatever. We just wanted to have community. We just wanted to hold community and have music and have fun. But, like big festivals are in the works, doing different events. 420 is coming up, which happens to be our actual anniversary. And
420 is your anniversary?
We officially went on air and launched on 420 on purpose.
I was going to say, was that purposeful?
Purposeful. Our name is Spark, and marketing-wise, it made sense. 420 happened to be a date that is for the sparkers of the world.
Yeah.
And we were sparking a new initiative in the community.
Wow.
420 was a dope day because everybody thinks about it. Everybody loves it. Yeah. We are cannabis friendly at Spark FM. So again, we have a lot of opportunities coming up with a lot of different dispensaries, because that's another thing. Marketing is big. Marketing is big not only for us, but it's big for our customers and our advertisers. So, those are the things that we wanted to make sure that we were relating to in the community. Massachusetts is one of the most progressive states right now when it comes to the cannabis culture and everything. So on 420,
it's an up and coming industry just as much as like digital radio or podcasting. You know what I mean?
And we all kind of need to work on each other. They are trying to contribute more to the community. We're a part of the community. They need marketing and advertisement. We happen to be our marketing and advertisement company. So, things like that are just kind of coming together and working really well with each other. And, for the most part of it, it's just, again, like we talked about earlier, trial and error, figuring out what's working, what's not working, and how we can use all of these little creative things to work together.
Yeah, it's like taking all the pieces of the puzzle and putting them together to make the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And like, but being willing to like sit there and take the time to look for the pieces. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
that's the hardest part about business, because everybody sees the outward things. They see, the station is doing good.
The outcome.
We're out
Yeah,
here,
right.
It looks beautiful. It's a vibe in there.
Right.
But people don't realize that, 3 times, probably 4 times a month, I am sitting there taking all my time writing grants or putting together proposals or fine-tuning a presentation to be able to speak to a company or whatever. So like those are the background work that I don't mind working on, but because we have such a big team, it has a lot of sacrifice. Sometimes the team is like, you're not there for us. What do you want from me?
I need to be there for me though.
I need to look out for me.
I need
Don't
to
just
get through this.
Exactly.
We got this.
Yes.
No, but that is dope though. In like you putting that dedication, the time, the effort, the work and the energy, the people don't see. I just hope that they recognize, like listening and watching in, how much actually goes to starting a business, creating a radio station, because it is not easy.
It's not.
People say the radio is dying. People say, broadcasting is dying. Nah, it's just coming back in a different way.
Exactly.
And we have to figure out, like you said, you're not
evolve with it.
You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just adding on to it and you're making it better. You know what I'm saying?
Just, like, again, we just have to focus on, like the message, our story, what makes us better,
unique,
what makes us unique,
right.
And like getting people involved. Like no matter what, radio can't die. It's still the fastest way to mass communicate with people.
Yes.
Everybody can tune in at this time and hear things in real life, in real time, live when it happens. When there is a missing child, and there's breaking news, like the person that you can just turn on the radio and this person will be talking about things like, hey, we got a missing little girl in Dorchester. Yeah. Everybody look out. So now people are hearing that message at the same time, and now everybody's looking out and everybody's trying to, work together to find someone, or, the bridge is down. Don't go there. There's a cop stopped on American Legion. Don't go there.
Right.
There's little things that people will always be able to relate to or to rely on when it comes to broadcasting, when it comes to media creation or content creation. So those are the kind of things that we want to make sure that we're sticking to.
Yeah, and it's just about tying it all together and pulling it in and making it, targeted to the urban community and the culture and just the Boston community in general, to help us grow, open our minds and be like, okay, we don't have to keep turning on the same station every morning. Yeah. We don't have to always listen to 94.5 or whatever. 96.9. Not trying to, like I said, no hate. But we can get out of that cycle and delve ourselves into a more urban community where can open our minds to different ideas and to progressing to being entrepreneurs. Like anyone listening in, like I said, if you're a young woman, if you're a young man, if you're coming up in the industry and you don't know how, just keep trying or reach out to people like me or, Danielle, because that's how it works. Like we have to be there. We have to be mentors and teach each other. We're always educating. We're always learners. And Danielle, MsHotSauce, before we go, I got one more question for you. As being a young woman starting a podcast, and the reason behind why I started this is I just always felt a little different, a little out of place. Like I had a purpose. Like I was in 5th grade and I was like crying to my mom, like I need to do something with my life. I was writing poetry, 5th grade. Like what the hell? There was a purpose internally within me where I knew I needed to speak out. I needed to talk to young women about anxiety, depression, talk to young men about being open about their emotions, or entrepreneurs about starting to do something more than working in 9 to 5 and being stuck in that robotic mindset of you can't do anything but work. You can do something else but work. So to you, an entrepreneur, a young woman, lady, female who has started her own business and continues that, what do you feel like it means to be an old soul in a young world?
Old soul in a young world. So dating myself, I was born in 83. So it's so funny because we have gone through the era of before computers, before cell phones, lights off, but we're not old, right? We're not
She's like,
baby
I
boomers.
swear we're not from like the back.
Yes.
We're not from the caveman era, but
we're not. But like we've been able to go through this pretty hardcore evolving, seeing the world evolve from, pre-computers, pre-social media, all the way to the boom, to damn near going into the friggin' metaverse, where I have no idea what the hell that is.
I can't even touch the metaverse right now.
We're old. But we're old souls, but we have a very young mindset. We are very able to evolve and to kind of roll with the punches because we've seen everything. We've kind of had to kind of navigate through ourselves. So what it means to me is just kind of having the experience and the knowledge of a lot of different decades and being able to continue to evolve into what is new, what is popping, what is relevant right now. And that means so much to me because we can relate to so many people on so many levels. We're not all the way up there. We're not young. We're like that middle child almost. Like we're the middle child. We're too young to be old and too old to be young. That so like medium. We're like right in the middle there.
Yes. Yeah. That was a fire answer. I appreciate you, MsHotSauce, for even coming on the show, for opening up, sharing your knowledge, sharing your gems with young entrepreneurs out there who might be wanting to do the same thing as you. Can you please plug yourself for everybody who might want to tune in, who might want to follow you on social media, get to know what Spark FM's about, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me across all social media platforms at MsHotSauce to you. That's MsHotSauce, the number 2 and the letter U. And that's literally everything. Website, socials, everything. Spark FM, same thing, Spark FM online. You got to do the whole thing. And then you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things. Like wherever you are, that's where we are. Google Spark FM, Google MsHotSauce. I also have a podcast, Henny and Hot Wings. And Henny and Hot Wings is about love, sex, and relationships. We do that live on Wednesdays, and we just kind of get low. We get a little transparent.
We get a little real.
With that relationship situation. Because I am also single. So call me.
Feel you, girl. Same here.
Exactly. But I'm all over the place. And then now that my actual name is in the all over the place, Danielle Johnson, you can find me on Facebook or whatever. And I'm, DM me, email me. I'm outside. I'm out here. And I love to connect with people, even though I don't like people. You can email me or text message me. Don't call my phone. Do not call my phone.
You heard it here. Miss Danielle, MsHotSauce, thank you so much again for coming on. For sharing your knowledge, like literally the inspiration that you bring to Boston for, like I said, 1, just being in the media industry as a female, 2, being a Black female in the media industry, and 3, creating a platform where we can indulge our community in the urban community and try to move forward. That's something that I just can't even touch, that I am just blessed to have in my community. So thank you.
You too. This is just beautiful. And I said, I've watched a lot of your videos, and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you so much for extending the invitation.
Yes.
And it's been awesome. And
it takes networking, right?
Exactly.
We come together.
We gonna see each other.
We gonna see each other. Y'all gonna see us. We gonna see us. It's gonna be a thing. But everybody tuning in, make sure you tune in to Spark FM. Any time of the day, any day of the week, whenever you're feeling it, whenever you want some real ass conversation, something other than the radio that we are fucking mindlessly listening to every day, you can tune into something where it's real, people you actually know are in your community who have relevant topics to talk about and are playing music that you really actually want to hear instead of the bullshit rotation. Make sure you tune in to Spark FM. Make sure you check out Danielle, MsHotSauce, and tune in with me next week on Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jessie Ellie. Woohoo! Woohoo! You're so bad.